When Magic players are shopping for products, they don't always look at the newest product. Sometimes you're just looking for a good deal, and times are changing. Some of the older products are so cheap and on sale that they beg the question, why are people not buying them, and what are we comparing them to? Because today's products are only going to get more expensive. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at some of these cheaper products that you can find, and we're going to cross compare that against a set like Duskmourn. Guys, stick around. We're going to have a good time in today's video. If you're a Magic player looking for a good deal, today's video might be just the video you've been looking for. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thank you again for hanging out with me on my channel today. Now, what do I mean by a good deal? You're not going to get these deals from Wizards of the Coast, but a lot of retailers have a lot of surplus product that has built up over the years. And the good news is, with the invention of the Play Booster box, which of course is a draft box mixed with a set booster box, but now a 36-pack product that is more expensive than either of the older products, it makes older booster boxes look a lot cheaper. In some cases, it makes it look so cheap you really shouldn't ignore it. Or maybe you can, because in today's video, we're also taking a look at some of the cards that are found inside these products to see if it's even worth your while buying a cheaper box that I might be sharing with you today. So let's start out with the first box to give you kind of a rundown of where we're at. Now, before I show you the box, though, understand I will be going between Canadian pricing and United States pricing. Depending on where you are in the world, this may not be completely feasible for how the pricing works out. Please convert it. Please make sure you just say, hey, this is like a really expensive box, or it's a really cheap box. Some prices will be in Canadian dollars, some will be in the US. Now, let's take a look at this first box together. Now, for those players out there who don't remember this box, we are taking a look today at Fate Reforged. This thing was released January 23rd of 2015. This is a 36-pack box that retails for $199.95. Now, that means roughly in Canadian dollars, this is $5.55 a pack. And if you're in the USA, it's $3.95 a pack. This thing's almost 10 years old, guys. Now, when we take a closer look, one of the biggest differences you're going to notice is this is all the mythics in the set. Take a close look, because you can count them basically on one hand. Okay, that's all they had. And you can see here, the most expensive card is the original printing of Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Now, of course, this card's been reprinted multiple times since then, but if you're looking for an OG printing, this is the box it came from. Now, if I jump over to the second part here and show you guys all these amazing rares inside the set, you'll see here that none of these rares are high-value targets. None of them really did anything, although some of them have great utilitarian purpose. When you go down and check these cards, they're all 40, 50, 60 cent cards. Now, again, the box was $199.95. It released almost 10 years ago. These things didn't go anywhere, other than maybe the Archfiend of Depravity. That's the only card really worth anything. It's kind of a fun card. You can take a look. But when you see the actual pricing, you can see it doesn't do a lot, does it? There's not a lot going on with this product. And that's Fate Reforged. Now, the one thing that's not mentioned there in that listing is the Khans of Tarkir was the last standard set to have fetch lands inside of it. But that's not entirely true. Because Fate Reforged, it had fetch lands inside that were unofficial. They are the fetch lands, but they came in like 2 or 3 in a box maximum. I opened a lot of Fate Reforged. I don't think I ever got more than 3, and most times I got 1 or 2, but I think I got 3 once, maybe twice. I'd have to look back, but never more than 3 ever. Whereas in a Khans of Tarkir box, I could get as many as 6. And I did that a few times opening that product. A long time ago again. That's back in 2014. And this is when they had the 3 blocks. Okay, so this one I think we had Khans of Tarkir, Fate Reforged, and Dragons of Tarkir was that block, the Khans block. And when you look at this product now, guess what? Fate Reforged used to be almost $300 a box. But when they started reprinting all those fetch lands, we had something crazy happen. Things got really cheap, really fast, and no one's buying these old boxes. It doesn't mean it's not playable, doesn't mean it's not an amazing draft experience. But as you can see, other than maybe a couple of fetch lands you'll get, there's not a lot of value in the individualistic cards, but the play experience is still strong. So depending on where you're at, this box is already less than a play booster box, and it's 10 years old. Now, let's take a look at the next one. Now for our next box, it is Modern Horizons 2 English Draft Booster Box. Now, this thing on sale is $279.95. Guess what, guys? That works out to $7.77 Canadian per pack, or in the US, it's $5.44 per pack is what it would cost you. And again, it was a 36-pack booster box. Now, I'll admit that this does cost more than said play booster box, but is it so much more that it's not worth the value of trying to take a stab? Are the cards inside here still valuable enough to make it worth attempting? Well, when you take a look, here are a whole bunch of rares from the set. You can see here Urza Saga, Showcase Edition, Regular Edition, Venerate Catacombs, because don't forget we have all the lands inside here, okay? Then we go down to the bottom, and you can also see Void Mirror, all these 50, 60 cent cards, but closer to the bottom, Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, $9, $10. Guys, because they have so many fetch lands inside this set, I only got the one page in, but there are pages of the cards, Regular Edition, Showcase Edition. There's so many usable cards for multiple formats that it gets kind of insane, but it doesn't end there. That's just it. We can flip over now and take a look at the Mythics page, which unlike the Khans of Tarkir, the Fate Reforged booster box, this one goes on and on. You can see there's Grief with all the different versions. You got, remember Gris, the Hunger's Tale? Great card, man. Imperial Recruiter, okay, Minmari's Wake, and then you can jump down to Ragavan. Guys, they're inside here. It is insane to think. The Ranger Captain is here too. We have so many cards of value, and this is just one page out of many that are inside here. And that is something that Fate Reforged doesn't offer because they weren't making boxes that way. But when you're comparing the value for $50, $60 more, or basically a $2 pack difference, are you willing to take a stab at it to see if you can get something better? Is it worth spending $50, $60 to get a little bit further ahead of these box prices? Because that's where you're looking at when you're looking for value and looking for a play experience. Because if you're looking for individual cards, you're not buying a box. You're buying the singles market. You're just going to buy the direct card. But if you want a chance to have a great night drafting or playing a chaos draft or doing some kind of mini pre-release with the packs you open, it's nice to know that there could be some locked-in value there that a lot of players can enjoy, finding that surprise of maybe a Ragavan or something worth some value that drives a little bit of a fun time into an exciting time. You can have a great time exploring the set, but then you get some crazy card that you open and go, hey, this is a $30, $40 card. It just paid for like 2 or 3 packs. It's amazing. I get the experience. We all know the Kraken addiction we can have. But now let's take a look at our latest play booster box. Now for the last comparison, I chose Duskmourn because it's a brand new release set. It's a play booster box. It's 36 packs, just like the other 2 sets I shared with you. Now this thing retails for $219.95 per box. That works out to $6.10 Canadian per pack, or in the US, $4.21 per pack. Which means, guys, if you buy the Fate Reforged, it actually costs you less money because it's $3.95 a pack. Duskmourn's $4.21. And if you jump in and you wanted to buy the draft box of Modern Horizons 2, that's $5.44, but that's only $1.20 a pack more. And there's a lot of cards in there that are still worth a lot of money. So how does Duskmourn shape up in terms of value? Yes, it's still a new release set, but prices are starting to settle down. Now, some of these big differences, guys, is as a brand new set, when you look at the collector box, which didn't exist for Fate Reforged, of course, you can see they've got all those, the fractured foil cards in there. You can see the Enduring Innocence there, $140. Those are kind of things that can still drive a lot of value home, especially in the collector boxes, right? Players do like to collect them. But when you go down and look at the Gloom Lake Verge, Borderless Edition, $11.88, you can see a lot of $6, $7, $4, $5 cards. And that's part of the supply chain thing where nobody's opening as many boxes, so the value is holding longer on a lot of these products. Now, when we jump over to the Mythics, though, you can see here, if you happen to get one of those borderless fractured foil things, the Japanese showcase ones, look at all the values there. 117, 187, 136, tons of stuff. But even cards like the Abhorrent Oculus, it's still a $30 card. Then you can look at Kaito, the Bane of Nightmares, $8 cards. There's still a lot of value as a new set, and although prices are settling, we won't really know how all of it works out, but it's interesting to note that those price changes, they do have cards holding at a higher value point. So as much as I'd like to say Fate Reforged is a great deal, and it is, for the play experience, if you want to have a good time drafting, when you look at Modern Horizons 2, it costs a little bit more, but there's a ton of value in there, as well as fetch lands. And then you look at the brand new set Duskmourn, some of those cards are holding value. So you can't really ignore that they did give us a little more stability, at least right now, inside these new sets. And I'm going to put Karlov Manor off to the side for the sake of anyone who might want to argue that back. I understand that set did not go over well for a lot of reasons, but there are other cards in the other Play Booster box sets we've seen, including Bloomburrow. It doesn't have tons of value, but there are cards in that $8 to $10 range that seem to be holding quite well. And there's a lot more uncommons holding value than you'll see in the first two sets I showed you. But I think if we really break it down to the numbers, most players here, I think you guys would tell me the same thing. You would go for the Modern Horizons 2 box. It costs a couple of bucks more, but there are just so many more cards in there that could have potential value, and not value in terms of dollar amount, but the playability of so many of those cards that can be put into so many different decks to enhance your enjoyment of the game that it's just insane to think about. It was a great set. It was well put together, and it should never be ignored. That cheap of a price is crazy to me. I know it's cheaper than most of the US places you could find it as well. Remember, you got to take 32% of that price of the $279.95. Take 32% off. And that's what it would cost in US dollars to buy it in Canada, assuming you can get it shipped over the border and stuff. Guys, crazy times. But I want to know what you guys think. Would you be shopping for an older box for the experience, or you just want some expensive cards? Would you buy the singles, or would you maybe take a chance on a box if it was a good enough deal? I need to hear what you guys are thinking. Thanks again for hanging out with me today. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for another video. Have a great day. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons of my channel. Because of the amazing Patreon support we have, as well as my YouTube membership members, we get to put out content every single day. You know what? I never get tired of saying it because of those patrons. Guys, it is awesome being here on YouTube with you each and every day. Thanks again for allowing me to experience this whole journey with you, and I will see you tomorrow with another video. Here we are at the end. I'm going to let you know a little bit of a secret. I have Fate Reforged boxes, and I remember paying $160 for some of those boxes near the end. They'd already been out of print for a few years and the price was creeping up. I grabbed a couple of extra boxes. So that means in the last 6 years, they've only gone up $30 because they're on sale right now, which means if it's on sale and not selling, that's actually not the price. It should be lower than $199. It should probably be $159 to get those things to move if you really wanted to get them off your shelf. That doesn't mean there's any more value there, but the play experience some players might have, being able to draft an old box like that for Chaos or whatever, could be hilarious. It could be a lot of fun and a great experience. When I looked at the Modern Horizon 2 boxes, there's just so much value still locked into those boxes. There are so many crazy cards you could get. Remember though, just like with the Duskmourn, some of these cards I'm showing you were only found in the collector boxes, right? They're not going to be found in a draft box, but it's still cool to think that there were so many chances at so many great cards. Love the stuff I was seeing. I'm like, this is nuts. I remember opening these boxes, and here we are looking at them like, that's like $80 less than I paid to open a box of Modern Horizons 2. $80 less than I paid. Plus taxes. Basically $100 less. Insane. Guys, awesome being here on the Ramble Jamble with you. And this is the stuff I think about. This is the stuff that keeps me awake going, wow. When these old boxes are gone, are we going to see price adjustments? Are eventually old boxes going to be forced up just because there's none left? I can't wait to see what happens. It's just so interesting. Guys, have a great one. The lights. Ah!